new Pokemon is here, plus a brand new shiny, and in-game events seem to be changing forever. Not sure if this is a good thing or a bad thing. We'll talk. Well, get ready for the return of the sustainability event here in Pokemon Go, happening from Thursday, April 20th at 10 a.m. to Wednesday, April 26th at 8 p.m. local time. The new Pokemon making its Pokemon Go debut will be the one and only, drumroll please, Bounsweet. Along with its evolutions, Steenie and Tisserina. When released, Tisserina will be a pure grass-type Pokemon with a max CP of 3351. As a grass-type attacker, it most likely will not stack up against the current meta, but as always with new Pokemon releases, it might have some PvP viability. We'll have to see. Now, the wild spawns for this event will actually be pretty epic, and they will be including some Pokemon that you honestly don't want to miss. They include Squirtle, Shelder, Wilmer, Drillbur, Cottony, Petilil, Dwebble, Fungus, Froakie, and if you're lucky, Larvitar, Binacle, and Bounsweet. And yes, for the first time ever, Drillbur can finally be shiny and will also be in the wild. This is a huge deal because it's the debut of a shiny that is an actually useful Pokemon in Pokemon Go. Usually we get a lot of fun shinies released. This is a really good shiny. And speaking of actually useful and good Pokemon, here are the ones you'll want to focus on catching in the wild. Squirtle. Blastoise is a classic and has been relevant for literally years. In PvP, it ranks 49th in the Ultra League and has a Mega Evolution, which is currently the #2 water type in Pokemon Go underneath Mega Swampert. Great Pokemon with a lot of usage and a great shiny. Shelder. Although its evolution is not meta relevant, Shelder does give a ton of extra bonus Stardust when catching. 1,000 Stardust to be exact, or 1,500 with the start piece down. That is huge if you're consistently down bad on Stardust like myself. Also, it's shiny, one of the best in the game. Also spawning in the wild and also gives a bunch of extra dust, 500 dust without a start piece and 750 with, and it does have a newer and actually amazing shiny, Froakie. Now, technically its evolution, Greninja, isn't currently meta relevant, but we can absolutely expect a Froakie community day happening sometime this year, mainly because we already saw a Chespin Calm Day back in January, so it's only a matter of time till Froakie. So basically catching some good IV Froakie and sitting on them and waiting for the Calm Day will be a really big play. Especially because eventually Ash Greninja will come to Pokemon Go, and when it releases, it will be a freaking tank. It's gonna be a dual dark and water type Pokemon with a max CP of 4,504, and it's gonna pack a huge punch. Drillbur. Drillbur obviously is the new shiny of the event, which makes it one of the biggest targets of the event, but that's not all it's about. But there's more to it. Drillbur's evolution, Excadrill, is actually one of the best ground type Pokemon in the entirety of Pokemon Go. And what makes it much easier is the fact that it's very easy to get, which means you can very quickly create a team of 6 good, meta-relevant, solid ground type attackers quickly with Drillbur. Also, it's ranked 59th in the Masters League, so it's useful there too. Larvitar. This Pokemon is absolutely the most meta-relevant spawn from the entire event. And honestly, the fact that it's spawning in the wild, it's kind of a big deal, because historically this is a very rare Pokemon, typically found in like the 10-kilometer eggs. And its evolution, Tyranitar, ranks as one of the best Pokemon as a rock type and a dark type attacker. It's a really useful Pokemon, both as a shadow and as a normal. And yes, right now for the first time ever, you can actually get a shadow shiny Larvitar from the Cliff Encounters. So I would strongly recommend getting your XL candies up with this Pokemon in the wild. Catch as many of it as you can. Then use that to power up the good IV Shadow Shinies, or Shadow Larvitar. And then Tyranitar will eventually get a Mega in Pokemon Go, which will be a freaking god. That will be a dual rock and dark type with a max CP of an insane 6,045. It's gonna break 6K. It will definitely be one of the most useful Pokemon in the entire game until the end of time. So again, good to stack up on candies now. And finally, Binacle will actually be a pretty good target just because its shiny is insanely rare. Not useful. Overall, a lot of extremely meta-relevant Pokemon spawning, along with some great and fantastic and semi-new shinies. Wild spawns for this event, big W. And they better be, because this event and others recently have been kind of changing in a big way. Which brings us to the next event detail, the eggs, which are honestly sort of fire. Like, they look good on the outside, but they might be a little bit rotten on the inside. In the 2-kilometer eggs, we'll have Cherubi, which can be shiny, the new shiny Drillbur, and the new Bounsweet. Eggs seem honestly great, and especially since they're 2-kilometer eggs that only feature 3 Pokemon, with 2 of them being shiny, it seems like a pretty good deal to hatch. But during the last event, we had a very similar situation where we had a handful of Pokemon, all of which could be shiny, and then one single Pokemon that couldn't be shiny, which was the new Pokemon of the release of the event. And after I hatched 100 of these eggs, I realized that trying to get the one Pokemon I was looking for, Riolu, just wasn't happening because its hatch rates were so low. And I was getting a ton of the brand new Pokemon, Ribombee? Cutiefly. Tons of Cutiefly. And after 100 total eggs, I got 2 shinies, which I guess is kind of good. So although honestly these eggs for the Sustainability Week event look fantastic, I don't know, manage your expectations because you might get clapped like I did. But yes, I will most likely be hatching the 100 eggs, but my expectations will be low. Luckily for all of us though, the new shiny Pokemon in this event is in the field research and in the wild, so way more ways to get it than just hatching. Speaking of research, there will be a timed research that will give encounters with Drillbur, Trubbish, and Bounsweet. And field research tasks will reward encounters with the brand new shiny Drillbur, which is honestly great. Although there is another new-ish trend that I've been noticing that makes this kind of a lot harder. During special events, the field research tasks are mixed into the normal field research tasks that you find when an event isn't happening. Basically, when you spin a Pokestop, it might be one for the event that's going on, and it might be just a normal field research task. And as of lately, the event field research, specifically the ones giving encounters with the sought-after Pokemon, are really hard to find, like near impossible. This was not the case just a couple of months ago during special events when all of the field research that you would spin from every Pokestop would be a field research that correlates to the current event. Now we really have to hunt a ton of different Pokestops to find the field research quests that we're looking for to hopefully find the Pokemon that we're looking for. And I don't really like this change, at all. And what it's most likely trying to do is trying to get people out and about, walking around more and playing more. I will say, Niantic's whole initiative of trying to get people outside, although it was, I guess, a noble goal, is really making a lot of aspects of this game a lot less fun, like with the obvious remote raid pass nerf, and then some other subtle features that we're going to talk about. First though, the event bonuses for the Sustainability Event Week will include Buddy Pokemon with the Ultra or higher level will bring souvenirs more frequently. Okay man, the souvenir feature does literally 0 in Pokemon Go. I do not understand this bonus one bit, but okay. Then, your buddy Pokemon will accompany you on the map longer after being fed. Okay. If your buddy Pokemon is Great Buddy level or higher, it will bring you leaf-wrapped gifts which could contain items like silver pineapple berries. If you're lucky. That is actually a useful bonus and a cool feature. And there will be half distance to earn hearts with your buddy. What? Okay, not to sound too negative Nancy, but the buddy Pokemon feature is one of the most useless, underused, least utilized features in the entire game. It doesn't really do anything in Pokemon Go except for a couple of, I guess, minor features that really aren't that incentivizing. So I have no idea why all of these bonuses are centered around buddies in the buddy feature. If they're gonna do an event like this, I'd like to see some sort of interesting and fun update come to the buddy feature that makes it more interesting to play with and makes it more fun and more incentivizing to use. This is a weird decision. I don't know what this is. And then we have new avatar items. So again, not to sound too negative, but this whole event is kind of a little just meh. And it's not meh because the event is meh. There's great spawns, a relevant new shiny, a brand new Pokemon. It's meh because of very small adjustments to certain specific individual parts of the event. I will say the spawns are fantastic and they are the only way to get the free stuff 100% free. So the fact that the spawns are great is really good. I'm excited about that. But it makes sense. Spawns are good because they want people going out, walking around, exploring and playing and catching, and good spawns will do that. The field research is only good because there's only one Pokemon in it, and it's the one chase Pokemon of the event. But the research quests are super diluted and really hard to find. If players want to actually find the research they're looking for, they're gonna have to get up and go out and walk around and explore a lot more than they had to in the past. The 2-kilometer eggs have seemingly great hatches, but what we've seen from recent events, they're kind of bait. Sure, you can get some great hatches, but the likelihood of that happening is low, and it seems a lot lower than it was a couple months ago. The bonuses make no sense for this event, and there's no special raids to hunt, which granted did happen during last year's sustainability event, so that checks out. They make the game as a whole just a little bit more boring, and definitely makes events that could be fun not so fun. I understand that I can do 5 remote raids a day, but I have pretty much completely stopped raiding since this raid update, and I am one of the biggest raiders that I know. And I do definitely kind of see this as the new route Pokemon Go is going to try to take this game down in an attempt to revert it back to where it was before the COVID happened, and the bonuses and everything. They're trying to move it back to what it was before 2020, which in my opinion, just makes no sense. This game has grown like mad and completely evolved over the past few years into a completely better and different game. Attempting to revert that for the sake of a company motto, it doesn't check out. This game and this community and the online community is a lot bigger than a slogan, and I hope Niantic realizes that. So is this technically, fundamentally like a pretty good event? Yeah, I guess. Will I be playing it and making videos on it? Definitely. And I really hope that future events will kind of keep that exciting spark that events in the past 3 years have all had. All right, rant is over. And speaking of events, there's actually a new event happening right now that I never talked about that's kind of important. The Mystic Hero event, an event about my hometown team, Team Mystic. Okay, it's happening from April 13th until Monday, April 17th at 8 p.m. local time, and it's honestly a great event for XL Candies. Okay, for starters, there's a special research storyline going down that I really recommend at least starting and definitely completing, because by completing it, you'll get an encounter with one Lapras with a very exclusive costume. Everyone in the world will only get, I think, one encounter with this one single Lapras, and I'm pretty sure it could be shiny, which would be obscenely rare to get. There will also be field research tasks giving rewards like Stardust and evolution items, and the bonuses are what really carry this Mystic event. 2 times XP for evolving Pokemon, 3-hour lure modules, and 2 guaranteed XL candies for evolving Pokemon, which is massive. Which means if you evolve a Larvitar to a Pupitar, you get 2 Larvitar XL candies, and then if you evolve from Pupitar to Tyranitar, you get another 2 XLs. XL candies are the most valuable thing in Pokemon Go right now, so to be able to easily stack up on them during an event like this, it's just massive. It's like a cheat code. Would absolutely recommend searching through your Pokemon inventory for meta-relevant Pokemon like Swinub or Beldum or Larvitar and just evolving them for XL candy. I literally went through my Beldum collection and evolved every single one that I had. All my shinies, all my shadows, all of them to stack up on the XLs. Then I went and did the same exact thing to my Larvitar collection, evolving on my Larvitar to Pupitar for XLs. And honestly, this is also kind of just like a weird kind of weekend event because nothing is happening in it except for the bonuses and the one Lapras, but for sure something to take advantage of. And that's the update on the Pokemon Go. A fun one, a not fun one. We'll see where they take this game, man. But we'll keep playing, we'll keep grinding, we'll keep uploading. And speaking of uploads, there's 2 other ones on the screen right now. Click those if you're interested, and I'll see you on the next video. Take care.